Krishna everyone, welcome to the Sunday program at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. We have a special guest for this week's Sunday program. It's titled Cows, Bulls and Humanity, the Relationship. We have a leader in this area of service in the ISKCON community, His Grace Balabhadra Prabhu, who has been extensively preaching and spreading awareness of this most wanted, most needed service in the community. He started this International Society for Cow Protection about 25 years ago in West Virginia. And he's also traveled to many places in Europe and America. South America, any place? Any place in South America? No? Okay. Australia. Okay. And training devotees, he's very famous in terms of providing ox training, trainers to train the ox, and also cow care. And in general, he has taken the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and developed a program to set an example in and around the world about how to take care of cows from a devotional perspective and what the connection to the Krishna consciousness is all about. So that's the lecture, the premise of the lecture, and we would please join us in welcoming Balabhadra Prabhu for today's program. Hari Bol.
Thank you very much. So we're going to give a PowerPoint presentation first, and there will be time for questions and answers. So, where's our PowerPoint man? Waiting. Here we go. So, my wife and I incorporated as a nonprofit charitable organization, International Society for Cow Protection, back in 1990. Sorry? And over the course of time, our main function is education. And our educational knowledge is based on what we have learned from Srila Prabhupada, through Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and Srila Prabhupada's other books. So, my wife and I lived at Gita Nagari for 10 years, from 1980 until 1990. And during that period of time, Gita Nagari was going full blast. And we had 157 cows and oxen. We were farming we had about 170 acres of agricultural land that we were farming. We had 14 oxen that were trained and engaged in service. And from the temple president at that time, his name was Paramananda. He was the one that I learned a great many things from regarding cow protection. And some of that I will share with you this evening, but one thing that he told me was that in working with oxen, you have to slow down. We are conditioned to go fast. We want to get there quick, and we miss a lot of things along the way. So in learning how to work with oxen, a phenomenon which I exhibited to Paramananda, as well as many others, and a phenomenon which people have exhibited to me when they come to learn how to train and work with oxen, is that we want the oxen to go at our speed. We're saying, get up, up, up. And the oxen, they have their own speed. We're in the mode of passion. The oxen, they're in the mode of goodness. They'll get the job done at their speed. So working with cows, working with oxen, one of the things that happens is that we learn to slow down and work in the mode of goodness. So, if you ever have the opportunity to work with cows, work with oxen, they are wonderful teachers of slowing one's pace from passion to goodness. Okay, where's our man? He needs to change the slide. All right. Thank you. So, what we're going to speak about this evening is cows, bulls, and humankind. Humankind is us. Not necessarily kind, but we are trying to be humans. And in developing a relationship with the cows and bulls, we have to learn how to be kind. The old-timers, they, in their teaching, knew people how to work with oxen. They say that if one becomes angry, then one should stop working with the oxen at that point in time and put them away. Because through anger, and it's the same thing working with children or students in any class, if you become angry, there's a good chance that you will spoil them. Spoil them means that you will break their trust and they won't have faith in you. They won't want to be with you. So, humankind, we need to be kind, not only because they're animals, we're working with them, but in our case, they also belong to Lord Krishna. These animals are very important, especially the ones who have come to perform devotional service. We don't want to spoil them so that their desire to perform devotional service is hindered. When one comes to them for a working day or training, they should be glad to see you, and they should not, run away from you. So in this way, it's also helping us to become soft-hearted. So the relationship. We learned from Srimad Bhagavatam about the bull and the ox. The bull is the emblem of the moral principles. And we find this in the purport in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, text number 18. So the bull is the emblem of the moral principles. And by working with him and serving him, we can understand what are moral principles. Also in Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada explains to us that the bull, he is a representative of Dharma, the right way to do things, how to eat, how to sleep, how to mate, how to defend, how to be truthful, everything which is dharmic. We don't want to be involved in adharmic activities. What we want to do, working with the animals, representing Srila Prabhupada, representing Krishna, is to work according to Dharma. How the bull contributes to humankind. 1, agriculture. 2, transportation. The oxen can be trained to voice commands which allow them to work alongside their teamster to carry out helpful activities for humankind. Right now we're living in an age where the trend is to use automobiles, tractors, mechanized equipment, which are based on fossil fuels. And if we don't have fossil fuels, how are we going to run the tractor? How are we going to run the trucks like this? So we have the opportunity to become dependent on Krishna's cows and bulls. Where are we placing our dependency now? How do we get things done? It's based on Ugra Karma society. the factories, they're making the tractors, they're making the trucks, they're making everything. And these vehicles, they're operating on petroleum products. So I have a question for you. How many mining operations does it take to make a tractor? Any guesses?
5.
Okay. Any more guesses? Okay. So you can keep tally as we go along. So in order to make a tractor, you have copper, zinc, aluminum, manganese, iron, tin. These are just a few of the mining operations that a tractor is comprised of. And these mining operations, they are not earth-friendly. It's a form of exploitation. It's a form of raping Mother Bhumi to get her raw ingredients. And once we have these raw ingredients, then they need to go into what is called a smelting operation, where these raw ingredients are broken loose from the rocks, and they're melted down. They're put into metal ingots or forms that are sent to the stamping factories, where all the different pieces of the tractor are made. Okay, so we've gone from mining. We're now in the factories. All of these places have vast amounts of pollution, whether it's air pollution, earth pollution, water pollution. Everything is running into rivers, so on like this. So we go from mining, we go to stamping. Now these pieces, they go to the factory where the tractors are actually assembled and put together. So what happens after the tractor is assembled and put together? It needs tires. So where do tires come from?
Rubber trees.
Rubber trees. Well, previously it was rubber trees. Now that they're using a lot of synthetics. But back in the day when rubber was used, you go to warm places, South India, Sri Lanka, places like this where they grow rubber trees. And the person who's working in the rubber tree plantation, he puts a spike into the rubber tree and he drains the rubber tree's blood in the form of latex. And this latex goes to the rubber, to the tire factories where they're making tires. If any of you have ever been in a location where they're making tires, the air is polluted. It's very, very foul smelling. So now you have the tires. The tractor is sitting, it's got tires. What does it run on? Oil. So the whole oil industry is very insidious. They are putting a big tube into Mother Earth, and they're taking her blood. And the oil goes to the refineries. It's refined into different grades of gasoline and diesel fuels. And again, pollution is unbelievable. When we used to travel with oxen to the different Rath Yatras, we broke down one year in a place called Midland, Texas. And where we were getting the bus fixed, the man said, "Are you all drinking water here?" And we said, "No, we have bottled water." And he said, "That's good." Because the water here, over the course of time, all of the oil rigs, the oil exploration and drilling has completely polluted the water table. Nobody in town drinks water except from bottled water. So we have the tractor sitting on its tires. We have the fuel. And now the farmer, he gets his tractor and he says, "Oh, this is wonderful. I can do the work of 50 oxen. This is a small tractor, but I can do the work of 50 oxen. And he says, "Okay, I don't need these animals anymore. I'm going to send them to the slaughterhouse. Now, besides all the karmic involvement with the wells, the mining operations, now we get into some very, very serious karma. Srila Prabhupada explains in Srimad Bhagavatam that the killing of the cows and bulls, he categorized them as these greatly sinful acts are responsible for all the problems in present society. This is in Purport, First Canto, Chapter 17, Text number 3. The killing of the cows and bulls. These greatly sinful acts are responsible for all the troubles in present society. But the farmer says, okay, I don't need my oxen. I'm going to kill them. So he sends them to the slaughterhouse. And the men come to work and they see the farmer, he has a tractor. And they're wondering, where are the oxen? You know, we've come to feed them, give them water, get them ready for working. And the farmer said, I have a tractor. I don't need the oxen. I've already sent them to the slaughterhouse. And as far as you 25 men are concerned, I don't need you either. You're now unemployed. I can do the work of the 25 of you with my tractor. See? So, in agriculture, back in the day, it was done with animals, horses, oxen, mules. And in order for the farmer to be successful in getting the work done, he needed to have a relationship with the animals. And that was one of the wonderful things about working with animals, is developing a personal relationship. Now, is that part of the philosophy of Krishna consciousness? Developing a personal relationship? See, not only with the animals, but with God brothers and God sisters, the children. And ultimately, we are learning how to develop a loving, personal relationship with Krishna. So by working with a tractor, it's very hard to develop a personal relationship. So it's very important for us to see this aspect of a Krishna conscious life. Right now we're in the city. How many of you have lived in the country and actually done any form of gardening or agriculture? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. 6. So it's a different lifestyle, having this opportunity to engage with other living entities in this type of work. So the second attribute where the bulls contribute is transportation. We can get from one place to another place. This is a picture of myself and my son back in the early 90s in North Carolina. And we have placed ourselves in a position to depend on the cows and the bulls. Just like Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, says, surrender unto me, have no fear, I will protect you. So part of Krishna's lifestyle, a big part of Krishna's lifestyle, is that he is a cowherd boy. And he is showing the residents of Vrindavan how to work with the cows, how to depend on the cows. He is going with the calves. When he was a little boy, he would go with the calves and stay with them all day in the pasturing grounds. And when he got a little bit older and Nanda Maharaj felt that Krishna was mature enough to take the big cows, those are Prabhupada's words, that Krishna was mature enough to take the big cows, then Krishna and the cowherd boys would take the big cows. But it's a form of dependency. This is in Czech Republic, and they have a very nice program. This team here is a little bit mismatched. They had two of the big white oxen, and one passed away. And so this red fellow, he was brought in to take his place. But what they're doing here is they're cleaning out the barns, they're putting it in the manure spreader and unloading it by the fields. So when it comes time to put the manure on the fields, then they can just bring the oxen and load up the spreader again and spread it on the fields. But the devotees in the Czech Republic, they have a very wonderful program. They use some horses also, but they are also using oxen. This is in Belarus. There's a farm connected with the temple in Belarus, and they do everything with oxen. Here they are plowing potatoes. This is a husband and wife team. And they have about 55 cows and oxen. And everything they do is with the oxen. This is in Hungary at the farm. And they are also doing, I would say, 90% of their farming with oxen. They do have some tractors, but they are working their land 90% with oxen. Here they've already worked up their fields. They've plowed and prepared the fields for planting. And right now they're planting grain with grain drills. This is myself. In 1995, we had just moved to New Vrindavan, and we moved there in October in the middle of a huge snowstorm. Winter came very early that year, and it didn't let up. It was a very strong winter, and I didn't have any firewood. So once we got settled in, I would take the oxen into the forest and find logs and drag them out and cut them up into proper sizes for the fireplace. But it was not possible to take any tractors into the woods because of the snow and the ice. And so again, Krishna is showing us to be dependent on his way of doing things. This is at Gita Nagari. This is back in mid-80s, where we were developing what is called an ox power unit. The old-timers called it a sweep unit or a gear head. And the biggest gear in this unit was from a cement truck. You've seen cement trucks in the front. There's a very big gear. And we found a cement truck which was not in use anymore. And we torched that gear off of the truck, and that's the main gear in this unit. It goes 2 times around. Every time the oxen go once around, that gear goes twice around, and the other gears in the unit, by the time it comes across to where the saw blade is, it's going at 540 RPMs. So we developed this ox power unit to cut firewood. It can also be moved. It was made so it's mobile. So if we had a place that needed to be irrigated, we could hook it up to the oxen, take it to that place next to the river, put a hose in the river, and run a pump so we could irrigate fields. So it's very, this particular unit took 5 oxen, and the unit that we developed it from was being used by the Amish, and they were slabbing lumber, they were cutting boards, and they had 10 horses hooked up to it. because when you're slabbing lumber, you have to keep your saw blade running straight. If the RPMs drop, if the animals slow down and the RPMs slow down, the saw starts to wobble and your boards are not cut straight. So agriculture, training oxen. This is one of my current teams. The breed is Milking Shorthorn. It's a medium-sized breed. And this particular pair of oxen, they are rescues. We have them at our farm in West Virginia. Their names are Nara, Narayan. So when we're working with them, we're always chanting Nara, Narayan, like this. So in training oxen, the first command that you train them to is their name. If I said, Prabhu, all the Prabhus are wondering, is he talking to me? See? Or if I said, Mataji, you're all going to think, oh no, is he talking to me? So the first command that the animals need to learn is their name. And when they learn their name, then you can start them on the basic commands. Nara, up. So Nara said, okay, I need to move forward. Narayan, up. See, so now they're moving. Nara, Narayan, whoa. So they understand, okay, we have to stop. See? So all the time we're working together. We're developing a relationship. And what is our Krishna conscious philosophy based on? We have a mantra, isn't it? Mantra, sound vibration. So, training the oxen is by sound vibration, you see. So, some people are using nose rings, and there was one devotee, he told me he could train any ox in 3 days. I said, oh, how do you do that? He said, I put a nose ring. I pierce their nose. Now, the nose is the part of the ox, the bull, which is their most sensitive. See, a horse has a bridle in the mouth, and that's how you control a horse. But the ox, the bull, is controlled by the nose. So he said, yes, I put a nose ring in them, and I pull them. And they will come. And yeah, of course they're going to come because it's painful. But are you developing a personal relationship with them? When you come to get them for working, are they going to come to you or are they going to walk away? See? So for us in Krishna consciousness, we need to show the development of personal relationships, personal loving exchanges. So I don't use any nose rings in any of my training whatsoever. And if you study oxen in America, you will find that in the New England states, there are hundreds of teams of oxen, hundreds of pairs of oxen, and none of them have nose rings. So it can be done. See? So this is Nara Narayan, and they are very wonderful. Now there's going to be a short video. It's loading. It'll take a few seconds for it to load. We're in the very early stages of training. Nara and Narayan are 7 months old now, and we've had the yoke on them, and they're doing quite well. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to walk them over to where we've been yoking up, and we're going to put the yoke on them and do a little practicing. And this is Nara. Nara up. Nara off. Off. Nara up. Narji. Nara up. Nara up. So for each voice command, there's a part of the body that you can touch, which gives them a better idea of what they're supposed to do. So for getting up, you touch them on the backside. Nara up. Narayan up. Nara up. Narayan up. So ha means to come to the left.
Whoa. Whoa. It's just a cat. It's just a cat. Good boys, good boys.
So woe is very important.
Good boys.
So now
you should just stand here. Good boys. Good boys. This is very important. It's actually the second most important command, is that they learn how to just stand until they're told to move. The first most important command is woe, which means to stop without taking another step. You might fall in front of them, or something might happen where it requires them to stop immediately as a matter of safety, and it could be a matter of life and death. So we work on this a lot. Just stopping without taking a step and standing. So you can see, even though they're watching the cat here, they have a little, they don't really know this cat. So they have Nara, who's on the left side. He doesn't really care, but Narayan, the smaller one on the right, he's a little apprehensive about the cat. He's kind of watching him out of the corner of his eye. But they're doing very good. They're just standing.
So this stopping is the most important command. Because if you happen to fall in front of them and you tell them woe, they should stop immediately. Their next step is going to be on you. So, and standing is also very important, because there's going to be many times when you're hooking up a wagon or hooking up a load with a chain, that if you have your hands in that chain, you're just hooking it, and they take a step, you can have all your fingers crushed. So that stopping and standing is very important. We practice that a lot. And a good team will just stand there. They should stand all day long until they're told to go. This is Madhava. Madhava is an absolutely wonderful fellow. He's Dhamvasi. He was born at New Vrindavan, and he's been living at our farm now for 8 years. And he's been one of our oxen that we use for training. But he's a little big, as you will see in the next video. He's a little intimidating. So we're using Nara Narayan. They're smaller. Yeah. Again, the video is loading, so it'll take a few seconds. But you'll see how big Madhava is. And we handle the oxen, we handle all of our animals every day. Oh, where'd the teamster go? Oh, there he is. There's no question of making him do anything. You know, he outweighs this young boy here about 20 to 1 in pounds. G means to go to the right.
Up. Whoa. Whoa.
A little rusty on the woe.
Good boy. That's a good boy. Good boy. Good boy. He is real good. Really good. That's a good boy. Good boy.
So in order to work with these oxen, you need to have a relationship with them. They will trust you if they feel that you are honest with them.
Boy.
So when I was at Gitanagari, one of the young men who was working with oxen, they asked Paramananda, says, "Do we have to work with the oxen every day?" Paramananda said, "Do you breathe every day?" So the answer is yes. In that way, everything becomes second nature. One of the best devotees that I saw working oxen at Gitanagari was a young lady. And she was very calm. She was very quiet with the oxen. And practically speaking, she would whisper, and they would do anything for her. So it's not a matter you have to be big and strong and, it's a matter of the heart connection that you have. Transportation. The bulls were employed for agricultural purposes, for drawing carts. So there was no necessity for motor cars. So people think, oh, you're going backwards, you're working with animals. But actually we're going forward, because there will be a time when petroleum will not be available. Tractors, once they break, you won't be able to fix them. We may not see it in our lifetime. We may. There's a book called Small is Beautiful. It's put out it was written by a fellow by the name of Schumacher, who was considered a world-class economist. And the first 3 or 4 chapters about fossil fuels. And he explains how these fossil fuels are non-renewable resources. Once they're gone, they're going to be gone. Prabhupada also told us that people will come to the farms in due course of time. They will come to our farms by the millions. They will be so harassed by material nature. They will be working so hard at their jobs. Taxation will be so harsh that they're thinking, I'm working, I'm not making anything, I can't even support my family. Let me leave this city life and go to the country. So Prabhupada told us that in due course of time, people will come to our farms by the millions. We will have to be able to feed them and give them service. And what is this service? The service is growing food, working with the bulls, doing agricultural activities. This is at Bhaktivedanta Manor. They do a lot of their agricultural work. I would say 90% of their agricultural work is also done with oxen. And they have a tremendous program of schools sending groups of children to the manor to see not only Krishna consciousness, but also to see the cows and the oxen. And all the groups of children who come to the manor, they get ox cart rides, which thrills them to no end. This was at a program that we were invited to go to in southern India, at a place called Sri Ramachandra Puramat. It was about 3 hours from Udupi, and it was a 9-day program, and it was completely, the only topic was cow protection. And they estimated that they were going to get a crowd of 500,000 people in a 9-day period. And they did. It was every day it just got more and more people coming. And one of their projects is to have all of the different breeds of desi cows and to be breeding. A lot of the desi cows, a lot of the indigenous cows in India are now extinct. And so what they're doing, one of their projects is to bring back, to find purebred pairs, bulls and female cows, and breed them and start to bring back these indigenous breeds. The bull is the emblem of the moral principle, and the cow is a representative of the earth. When the bull and the cow are in a joyful mood, it is to be understood that the people of the world are also in a joyful mood. So how are the cows and bulls in Kali Yuga? Are they in a joyful mood? Are the people of the world in a joyful mood? So this is a formula which Prabhupada is giving us. If the cows and bulls are in a joyful mood, then the people will also be in a joyful mood. The reason is that the bull helps the production of grains in the agricultural field, and the cow delivers milk, the miracle of aggregate food values. The human society therefore maintains these two important animals very carefully so that they can wander everywhere in cheerfulness. So is that happening in present time? No. So even with what we are doing as a Krishna conscious society, one of the problems, one of the issues which we must address is the fact that we are using commercial dairy products. Now, in the commercial dairy system, are the cows happy? No, they're not happy. Are the calves happy? What happens to the calves when they are born? The farmer takes them away. He has no time with the mother. He may be allowed to have one time sucking on her udders, but if it's a bull calf, they're just taken away. See? So, as a Krishna conscious society, we are being given information like this. If the cows and bulls are happy, then humans will be happy. So as long as we are supporting the commercial dairy industry, which basically exploits the cows when they are no longer able to give milk that makes a profit for the farmer, he sends them to be slaughtered. You see. The last two big cows that we saved, that we rescued, Madhavi was 4 years old. She had given close to 100,000 pounds of milk, but she couldn't get pregnant. So, what was happening? She was 4 years old. She was a great milker. She couldn't get pregnant. The farmer was sending her to the slaughterhouse. She was deemed useless. See? So, as a society which one of its foundation pillars is cow protection, is it responsible of us to support the commercial dairy industry which exploits cows and when they're no longer able to give milk, sends them to be slaughtered? Is it dharmic for us to support that type of activity? So cow protection is very important. And it's just something that I would like for you to think about very carefully. That how can ISKCON of Silicon Valley become more and more involved in cow protection? Right now you have one cow, Surabi. You've seen her? She's wonderful. She's absolutely wonderful. We saw her yesterday. We went to visit her, and many devotees were there, and she just came right over to us. And, she's absolutely wonderful. You're very fortunate to have her in your community. But we have to carry the question, how can we continue to support commercial dairy industry by buying those products? As soon as possible, if we can develop a plan to slowly, and it's going to be slowly because number one, you don't have any land for cows, to become more and more dependent on cow's milk from protected cows. So keep this question in your mind. How can we become more and more dedicated to using protected milk? and in this way help society at large to become happy. The cow. The cow is a representative of the earth. So, this is in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1:16-18. So, the cow is a representative of the earth. And when we are protecting the cow, then the earth, Mother Bhumi, is also very happy. When we are not protecting the cow and we are committing violent acts against her, then Mother Bhumi, the earth, is also going to be very unhappy. The cow contributes to humankind. Milk. From milk, yogurt, cheese, butter, ice cream, and a variety of milk sweets are provided. Milk and milk products contain many nutrients for a healthy body. Milk is often called the perfect food. Due to the high demand for milk, the cow has been exploited. However, one can keep a cow nicely and have milk, which is the perfect food. The cow provides milk as an act of love. Milking the cow means drawing the principles of religion in a liquid form. So, what is milk? What we hear is that we want milk. See? But what does milk represent? Prabhupada says in several places that milk is referred to as liquid religiosity. See? So, milk that is coming from protected cows has different qualities than milk that is coming from the commercial dairy industry. Milk from the commercial dairy industry is full of different antibiotics, hormones. There's a lot of fear, a lot of adrenaline, especially when the cows are, well, their whole lives, they're treated so badly that they're in a state of anxiety. And this is one reason why cows, they're not able to get pregnant, is because they're full of anxiety and stress. So, when we think of milk, what is milk? Is it actually liquid religiosity? Yes, if it's coming from protected cows. See, back in the day, in the Vedic times, milk was very pure. But nowadays, with the farmers giving injections of bovine growth hormones and so many different things, milk is not really the pure substance that we would like to think it is. Another reason to have protected cows, giving liquid religiosity. This is at the farm in Czech Republic. This was the first calf that this cow had delivered, and the calf is just probably an hour old. It's been cleaned. The mother has licked all of the afterbirth off, and now the calf is coming and learning how to drink milk from its mother. This cow is also at the farm in the Czech Republic. Her name is Rasa Lila. The devotees to the left, the temple president, his name is Vanashram, and his wife. They're very wonderful people. They've been farming for many years. They've been at the Czech Republic farm for many years. But Rasa Lila, she's Jersey cow, like Surabi. And one of the unique features about her is that she never had a baby. And one day when she was younger, she just started to give milk. And she gave milk for years without having a baby. And it was the most amazing milk that I've ever drunk. With the exception of yesterday's milk from Surabi. It was on the par of Rasa Lila. It was amazing. And Van Ashram, when we first came to the farm, he was so eager. Oh, at milking time, you're going to have to, have some milk from Rasa Lila. It's the most amazing milk you will ever drink. And it was. It was. He said, we call it Amrit. And the milk that we were given yesterday at the farm from Sarabi was equally as nice and wonderful. But Rasa Lila, she was getting old. She had arthritis very badly. And they just let her roam wherever she wanted to. She didn't cover very much ground because of her arthritis. But she had a friend, a young cow, again, Jersey cow. She had a friend whose name was Tungi. And they were practically inseparable. And just before Rasa Lila passed away, Tungi also started to give milk without having any baby. So the theory is that Rasa Lila was telling Tungi, I'm going to leave soon. So I would like for you to carry on this legacy of providing milk for the deities. And Tungi started giving milk. See? And also was wonderful milk. So this is what happens when you have loving exchanges, loving relationships with the cows. There are times where they don't have babies, but they give milk, and it's absolutely wonderful. This is their service. They feel that it's their service to the Lord. The commercial dairy industry. Now this is a different story than what we've been talking about. This is Madhavi. And there's a lady that we know, she has a small sanctuary, and she has already rescued 4 cows, and she doesn't have very much land. So she found us on the internet, and she called us up and she said, oh, this cow is going to go to the slaughterhouse, and I love her so much. She's such a wonderful cow. And can you please take her? I will pay for her. Will you please take her and take care of her for her lifetime? And we said, okay. So we arranged for, her name was Maddie, or Madeline, and we arranged for her to come. And she's with us now. She's been with us for 2 years. And she's absolutely wonderful cow. So this is where she was living. She had never, her whole life she had been on concrete floor. She had never been on pasture. And so when we got her, it was in the winter, and she was in one of our barns. We put bedding down so that the cows are always on soft surface, never on cement. Although cement is there, but it's covered with straw or hay, so they have soft surface. This is another cow that we got from this lady, and her name was Jeannie. She had given over 20,000 pounds of milk. She'd only had 1 baby, and again, an example of a cow who was not able to get pregnant. But she was 3 years old, going on 4, and again, an absolutely wonderful cow. And we were asked to rescue her so she wouldn't go to the slaughterhouse. So we made the arrangements. We went and picked her up and brought her back. And there should be a video now of Jeannie coming to the farm. In the small vehicle is Judy and her husband, and she's the lady that has made the arrangements.
She laid down. How you doing, girlfriend? Oh, you just made yourself at home in there, didn't you?
Just said, like with any cow, friendly cows tend to be more boisterous when they're in heat. And she'll let you know. Oh my goodness. So I was just about to get my breakfast and feed them. See when they're tense or nervous like that, their jaws.
Yeah.
They get bunchy jawed, I call it. They're scared.
Come on out. You come? Let's go.
So we don't force them to come out.
Yeah.
We just let them come at their own speed. This
do you
is
think, baby
completely
girl? I'm
new
waiting for
experience for them.
Well, let's first see if she'll come.
Maybe I'll just stay in here after all.
Everything is
This
new.
such a
All the
bad-
smells are new. The sights are new. She's never been in a trailer before, so her life is changing 100%.
Smells, huh?
Come on, baby girl.
Oh no, not that way.
There you go. I know it's a slippery.
Yeah, the video is actually out of sync. There she goes. Okay, so we missed half of the video. We've been rescuing cows. We feel that we have a carrying capacity at our farm of 28 cows. And so some of our older cows, we lost 3 cows last year to old age. They were all 19 years old. Average life of a cow is 15 to 20 years. So we lost 3 of our older cows. So we felt that we could rescue some more cows. We actually went to the sales barn, the auction barn, where they're selling cows and other animals. And we were going to get 3 baby calves. And we came home with 8. There was too many that we completely fell in love with, and we felt that we couldn't leave them behind. So this is going to be another video of coming home with the 8 baby calves.
Okay, just a boy. Just a boy.
Come on in.
We know the boy. This is a boy when you have it on the side. On the back.
He's saying the sticker on the side means that it's a boy. If the sticker's on the forehead, it's a girl.
Now there's the girls and the boys.
That's Balaji. He's the boss.
You're welcome me.
That little calf he's with is Padma Ganda. That's his favorite. And this little boy, little calf in the front, that's Abai.
And on their butt, you're boys. When they're on their forehead, you're girls.
Padma Ganda. This is a little girl. Her name is Radhika. is Meenakshi. She's a little older. She was a few weeks old. So, going to these auctions, to these sale barns, and seeing how the animals are treated, it breaks our hearts. To be able to rescue these little babies, these living entities, and bring them home and raise them up so that they can, without them, it's very hard for us to show cow protection. We can theorize about cow protection until the cows come home. But unless we're actually taking care of cows and treating them in a way which is respectful, the respect that any Vaishnava is due, then what we are talking about won't have very much validity. As a society based on Krishna, who is a cowherd boy, who shows by example, the more that we have cows and show a Krishna conscious way of living with them, then people will see that cow protection is a very viable way of life. Pasturing cows produce the best milk. Who is known for pasturing cows? Krishna. Yeah. As we mentioned earlier, when Krishna was a little boy, he would take the calves. Nanda Maharaj didn't feel that he was mature enough to take the big cows. So as a little boy, he would take the calves. He would go to the pasturing grounds and stay with the calves every day. And when he became mature enough, Nanda Maharaj let him take the big cows. So this is in our sampradaya, this is in our history. When we read Krishna book and Bhagavatam, these are not stories that we can say, Krishna was a cowherd boy. Krishna is a cowherd boy. He is eternally doing this. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, in 8th canto, 24th chapter, text number 5, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna purposefully took birth in the family of cowherds and personally showed how to take care of the cows and calves. So Krishna did this on purpose. It wasn't some accident, but Krishna did this on purpose to show us how to do this. Protection and grazing grounds for the cows are among the essential needs for society and the welfare of people in general. This is from Light of the Bhagavad. This is one of our pasturing grounds. at our farm. There's a video connected with it also. Has anybody ever heard cows eating? So being with the cows will change one's life. When Lord Krishna appeared, he purposefully became a cowherd boy and showed personally how to give protection to the cows and calves. Similarly, he showed respect to Sudama Vipra, a real Brahmin. From the Lord's personal activities, human society should learn how to give protection specifically to the Brahmins and cows. This is from the purport, Srimad Bhagavatam 8:24-5. So Krishna is asking us to follow his example. He is shown by his own activities. It's hard in San Jose. There's no pasturing grounds. But close by, as you leave the area, there's land. And hopefully in due course of time, you will be able to secure some land and have a farm where you're able to take care of cows and have a village where you can have a school. Children will be able to grow up in the countryside also. The cow and bull, cow urine and cow dung are uncontaminated. And since even the urine and dung of a cow are important, we can just imagine how important this animal is for human civilization. So besides the milk, the cow is very valuable. The demigods, thousands and thousands and thousands of demigods live in the body of the cow. Which of the demigods is residing in cow dung? Who? Who? Lakshmi Devi. And who does Lakshmi Devi represent? Huh? Opulence, wealth. So cow dung is very valuable. Even in America, people are referring to cow dung. Farmers, they say that cow dung is farmer's gold. It's the best of all dung for fertilizer. And what about urine? Which of the demigods is residing in urine, in the cow urine? That's cow dung. And the urine? Which river, when her name is brought up, invokes purity. Ganga. So Ganga is residing in cow urine, and cow urine is considered as pure. And is used for medicine. It's very valuable in Ayurveda. How the cow and bull contribute to humankind. Fertilizer, fuel, medicine, and other sources for building materials. This is one of our gardens. This is the first garden that you get to when you come to our house. And the only fertilizer that we use is cow dung. We use wood ash also. We heat the house with wood during the winter, so we put some wood ash in the soil, but 99% of our fertilizer is cow dung. These ladies are all disciples of Srila Prabhupada and other initiating gurus in ISKCON. This is our root cellar. We do a lot of canning. We grow a lot of vegetables. We can a lot of tomatoes, beans. If it's a good season for fruit, we make jams and jellies. If it's a good apple season, we make applesauce, apple butter. The buckets up on top, they're all dried. They're packets of dried vegetables, bitter melon, tomatoes, apples, cantaloupe, things like this. And in this way, when it's snow on the ground, we still have organic fruits and vegetables from the garden. And who recognizes these? Cow dung. So we make a lot of cow dung patties, and we do sell them at Rath Yatras and on our website. A lot of people are doing Agnihotra, and people who are living in apartments in the cities, they may have some houseplants, and they would like to have some natural fertilizer. So they buy some of these and soak it in water, and they water their plants during the winter months. Now these are a little bit bigger. This is in Vrindavan. One of the factors or ways to judge wealth is by one's supply of cow dung. In India, many years ago, I read an article about the village economics, and part of that village economics was cow dung. How the ladies were collecting the cow dung, making the cow patties, drying them, and then making these beautiful stacks for storage. And it was estimated across India that this cow dung business for the village ladies was worth $3 billion in whatever rupees were, but $3 billion. So the cow, if it's not giving milk, it's still giving dung, still giving urine. Very valuable. Prabhupada told us what is the best fuel for cooking. Cow dung. It lends a special flavor to the food. This is at Rajasthan Goseva Sangh in Jaipur. We visited there. There's a number of things that they do there. Number one, they have a small cancer clinic. They have several Ayurvedic doctors on staff. And in their cancer clinic, they are claiming a cure rate of 85%. And their medicine that they're using is cow urine. And they distill the cow urine, and they put in different herbs. If there is diabetes, kidney problems, liver problems, whatever, they can deal with it. But their cure rate on the cancer is documented at 85%. In the background, there's a dark object, which is a methane digester, and they produce 2 different types of compost or 2 different types of processes for using the cow dung. The methane digester for realizing gas. They use the gas to run generators, and they power their whole compound. They have 13 acres right in the middle of Jaipur, and they use the gas to run generators to power their programs. They have 2 types of compost. One is called vermicompost. In the compost business, when they refer to vermi, it's the worms. They have banana leaves and cow dung. They mix them together. They introduce the worms, and in 27 to 30 days, they have a finished product. This is the finished product, the cow dung vermicompost. And this is the compost bagged up and ready to send to market. They are completely self-sufficient based on products coming from the cows. Now, practically in India, they accept it, and it has been found by chemical examination that the cow dung contains all antiseptic properties. That is a fact. One, Dr. Ghoshal, he analyzed in his laboratory why this Vedic injunction is the stool of a cow or cow dung is pure. So he analyzed, and he found it that the stool of cow dung, is full of antiseptic properties. So we take it on the basis of Shastra that the cow dung is pure. But people are questioning, how is this dung? How is it pure? So it's been analyzed several times, but Prabhupada is documenting this particular situation. And cow urine, medicine, and also used in agriculture for a pesticide. This is cow urine. I was checking the cows early in the morning. It was summertime, and the cows were just starting to rise. The sun was coming up, and I had a jar with me. I needed to get some urine, and Balaram provided some nice urine. But this is also one of the cow's most wonderful products. This is at Mother Labangalatik's Goshala. It's about 3 hours from Mumbai. And this young lady, she was cooking down cow urine. And when it got to a certain consistency, she would add haldi, turmeric, and then she would roll it into little balls, and that was used as medicine also. So she's very happy to be engaged in this activity. This is at Rajasthan Goseva Sangh. This is one of their distillers, where they are taking the raw cow urine and distilling it.
Why do we distill it? Why do we distill cow urine?
The raw cow urine loses its potency quickly, so in order to get it to different people, and so they're distilling and then adding the. But for the clinic, actually right there on site, they were using raw urine because of the potency. This is at another place. This was at that conference that we went to in South India, Sri Ramachandra Puramat. They also were distilling cow urine, adding different herbs, bottling and labeling. So the children and the ladies are engaged in this. This is at Rajasthan Goseva Sangh in Jaipur, and he was making pesticides which were going to be used in agriculture. The pesticides were not to kill the bugs, but to move them out of the area. So the conclusion, the cow and the bull selflessly contribute to humankind in many ways. In what ways? does and can humankind reciprocate in order for the relationship to be equally interdependent? So the cows are giving. This is Balaji with Madhava. Indadumna Maharaj visiting. This young boy, he fell in love with the cows. Whoever comes to visit the cows, they go away with a sense of happiness, and they're very happy to have met the cows and spent some time with them. One of our Brahmins, his name is Sri Udarandatta Thakur, and he likes, when people come, he likes to lay down, and he expects to get massaged. Yeah. It's a fact. Everybody who comes, you can see in this. That young boy that we saw training Madhava early on, this was his first day of training. From a very young age, from birth, one should be able to associate with cows and develop this personal relationship. Bhakti Raghava Maharaj also comes and visit whenever he's in New Vrindavan, he stops by. And here we're having a nice discussion. Who knows who this is? Madhava. When Madhava comes for 24-hour kirtan, we always bring him to the house for garden prasadam, and he comes and visits the cows. Slows them down. He's been on the airplanes and the highways and slows them down. He's very happy. This is Harisari Prabhu. Sri, he expects his massage. And Balaji, he loves Sri. He loves all the cows. Niranjana Maharaj, Shivaram Maharaj. I don't know this young girl's name, but she was very much infatuated with Priya, her biggest Brahman cow. And this is Padma Ganda. He was just 40 pounds when we got him. All of these cows, these rescued calves, they all had, the umbilical cord was still attached. They were a day or two old and basically hadn't had anything to eat. So we basically had to teach them how to drink from the bottle. They had never had the experience of drinking from the mother. He weighs about 120 pounds now. He's growing quite nicely. As soon as there is fall down from Brahminical culture, and as soon as there is discrepancy in the protection of cows, there will be no more peace in the world. Therefore, he specifically said, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. This Krishna consciousness movement is for the protection of Brahminical culture and cows. This is a lecture from Srila Prabhupada in December 1968 in Los Angeles. So society today has fallen down. Brahminical culture does not exist. Cow protection does not exist. So we have been given the responsibility of, again, developing Brahminical culture within society and also bringing forth cow protection. Prabhupada explains in the Bhagavatam also that the two pillars of spiritual life are Brahminical culture and cow protection. So we've been working on Brahminical culture, but cow protection needs a lot more help. So this is a request that we continue to work on Brahminical culture and give more and more attention to cow protection. So our request is please protect the cows and bulls. So, how can we promote Brahminical culture? What was the second? Cows and bulls? Brahminical culture, what is one of the biggest services that the devotees in ISKCON of Silicon Valley, what is your biggest projects? Book distribution. What do the books say? Oh, they say so many things. But they speak about, practically in every book, Prabhupada is talking about cow protection. You see, this is a pillar of Brahminical culture. So, it is very important that the books are distributed. You have a wonderful example in ISKCON Prabhu. He is pushing. He has been distributing Srila Prabhupada's books since the 70s. See, and he has carried this infection, which is, in this sense, it's a good term, this infection of this desire of wanting to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. But Srila Prabhupada, he was very happy when his books were distributed, but he also wanted us to read the books so that we knew what were in the books. And that when we're selling the books, when we're distributing the books, we can tell people that they're about so many different topics. There's medicine, there's a social organization, Vanashram, there's agriculture, there's so many different topics. There's how to develop love of God. Everything is based on that, developing love of God. So it's very important that I am going to push cow protection. I'm not a book distributor, see, but I'm very, very emphatic about my love for the book distributors. Because of you, Krishna consciousness is spreading. Is Srila Prabhupada a farmer? No. Really? Yes, he's so many things. But these books, they're like seeds, you see. Every time you put a book in somebody's hand, you're planting the seed. Isn't it? See? And besides that, he is planting the seed of Bhakti Lata. Bhakti Lata beads, the seed of devotional service. And he has told us how to nurture this seed. To pour the water of Srinam Prabhu, always chanting nicely, trying to chant without offenses. How to keep the weeds away so that the creeper of devotional service doesn't choke. See? And eventually that seed will grow into love of God. And in these books, all of this information is there. So, what time is Arti? Okay. So, I want to tell you a quick story. I was traveling many winters. I had the good fortune to travel in Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, England, like that. And in those winter months, November, December, is Prabhupada Marathon, book distribution is pushing. And I had the good fortune to be able to glorify many of the book distributors and offer my humble obeisances to them. But this one story, it was in '94. I was in Belarus for 1 month. I was giving a seminar at the farm there on cow protection and training oxen. But 3 weeks into the seminar, this car pulls up at the farm and these devotees jump out and they say, "You have been invited to come to Rath Yatra in Moscow." So I said, "Okay." And I asked them, what is the cheapest way to get there? And they said, "Train or car?" And there was going to be 5 of us. So they said, okay, car is going to be the cheapest. So we get in this little car and we drive into Moscow. And, we get to Moscow, it's 2 days before Rath Yatra, and it's pouring rain, just sheets of rain. And the next day, same thing, just pouring rain. And the devotees are still, cooking and making little packets of raisins and nuts, and to throw off of the cart. And the book distributors are getting all their books ready. And the next morning is Rath Yatra, and it was raining. So, morning program, Mangal Arti, Tulsi Arti, Japa, greeting the deities, Bhagavatam class, and what happens? Stops raining. And the sun comes out, and the devotees are so happy. Rath Yatra is wonderful. It's just so many devotees. And you can see in the crowd, book distributors, they got piles of books, and they're passing out books and distributing books, and people are taking books, and Rath Yatra is over, all the festivities are over, and what happens? Rains. Just pours rain. So then there was a devotee who was there, his name was Rohini Sutta. All he ever did for Prabhupada was distribute books. And his disciples also. For many years, they were on top of the list of book distribution. So he gave the Bhagavatam class. It was a 3-hour Bhagavatam class. And the place was packed. And people's eyes are like this, the ears are like this, nobody's sleeping. And at one point in the class, he says, so, did we have Rath Yatra yesterday? And everybody goes, Haribo! And then he says, how would you like to have Rath Yatra every day? And everybody goes, Haribo! And he said, we can have Rath Yatra every day. Just like yesterday, we had Rath Yatra. We took Lord Jagannath in our arms. We took him out into the streets, and he gave his mercy to the fallen conditioned souls. But you can have Rath Yatra every day by taking Krishna in the form of books. You're carrying Krishna in your arms. So every day you can have Rath Yatra. You take the books, you go out, and you give the mercy. And everybody just completely lost it. To them, this was the most revolutionary advice that they had ever had. Inspired them to go out and have Rath Yatra every day. So, in that, I was asked to speak a little bit about Advaita Acharya. And I don't know that much about him. But what has inspired me over the years about Advaita Acharya, tomorrow's his appearance day, what has inspired me about Advaita Acharya is that his compassion for the fallen conditioned souls, that he sees the fallen conditioned souls, that they are suffering because they are trying to enjoy separately from Krishna. And he knows that this is not possible. So what did Advaita Acharya do? He prays for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for this incarnation of Lord Krishna, to please come and give his mercy and bestow his mercy on the fallen conditioned souls. So working with the cows, my heart is full of compassion, knowing their suffering and how important it is to give them compassion. Our whole movement, we need to have a compassion-filled diet which does not include commercial dairy products. Anyway, I'm sorry I can't say any more about Advaita Acharya, but I've been inspired by him, that element of compassion. So I'm asking you also, in your book distribution, please have this compassion in your hearts for all the living entities in this area that you can touch by giving them a book and by thinking how to become more and more involved in cow protection as a lifestyle for ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Thank you very much.
Haribol, Prabhuji, I had a quick question. This topic of cow protection, there's another controversy. Some people, till they are able to get milk from protected cows, they are turning into vegans. So what is your opinion about that? Whether is it against Srila Prabhupada's teachings, or to become vegans because you cannot, you don't have access to protected dairy products? Is that a okay thing to do, or not so?
It is a problem. It is a big controversy. What it does is it puts the responsibility on our shoulders that we actually become more involved in cow protection, so cruelty-free dairy products can be available. Prabhupada speaks about the glories of milk in so many places. So as Vaishnavas, it is part of our sampradaya. But at the same time, a lot of devotees have become complacent. You say, oh, we can, have our, 5 cheese pizza, and the tongue is out of control. See? So what I'm asking, I understand that, Krishna is a cowherd boy. We're not meant to be, vegans. But at the same time, how can we continue to support these hellish activities in the commercial dairy industry? Again, Prabhupada labels them as these greatly sinful acts are responsible for all the problems in present society. Now, Srila Prabhupada wrote these words in 1962. If you look at his original Bhagavatams, when I was initiated in 69, he had 3 sets of India Bhagavatams left, and he gave me a set. And so I know that, even before Prabhupada came to America, he was thinking like this. See, where the cow is exploited, when she is no longer able to give milk, then she is sent to the slaughterhouse. Her babies are taken away as early as possible for purposes which may not be mentioned in these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada is saying these words, you see. But by taking milk from protected cows especially, Prabhupada said that this is deriving religious principles. We take it away from the tongue. See, we have to understand what is cow protection. Cow protection is deriving religious principles. Read the purport. It's 117.3. See, Prabhupada is glorifying milk. So yes, we also have to glorify milk, but we have to show the example. See, I also follow a vegan diet, unless I can get, because I know what the commercial dairy industry does, what it's all about. I can't justify supporting that as a cow protector. See? So to have Sarabi's milk yesterday, to have Sarabi's milk today, at lunch, is wonderful. See? And it was the most amazing milk. See? We're not against dairy, but we don't want to support these greatly sinful acts. Is that all right, Mataji?
Thank you very much, Prabhu. One of this whole talk, or this matter, actually not this talk, but this matter is a very hypocritical aspect. And, when it comes to supporting the cow, I think ISV has done some small steps, and Hari Guru Prabhu has been kind of instrumental in that. But, when we look things around, okay, there's a cow, there's a structure which is put, but then how do you think, especially in North American concept of financial is just a very small aspect of it. I think larger problem is pool the resources to take care of the cow and the relevant services coming. So what are your guidance to communities to, how to build the manpower? Because we have just delegated the cow protection to an external agency right now for ISV. How do we go to that stage?
It's difficult because in your area, land is very expensive. So to actually take care of your own cow is going to be difficult. The farm where Surabi is now, Krishna has made a very wonderful arrangement. We spent yesterday with Tom and Alfonso. They are very soft-hearted people, and they're falling in love with Surabi. So Krishna has made this arrangement also to bring Krishna to them. And the more that the devotees, go and visit Surabi and associate with Tom and Alfonso and like that, they will benefit. So how to get to where the devotees can take care of Surabi? That has to come from a collective desire from the community. Whether you're making a pledge of $1 a day and it goes into a secure bank account or a trust for Surabi to get land, to get infrastructure, to take care of devotees who will take care of the cows. It's a complicated thing, It's not like India where land is easier to get, or where I am, I'm close to New Vrindavan, land is much cheaper. And I was very fortunate to buy land there at a very reasonable price. So it depends on the community. And again, you're doing book distribution. This is your big push. But what do the books say? One of the main topics, you can turn to any of Prabhupada's books, you go to the contents, and you look up milk, you look up Nanda Maharaj, you look up Yasoda, you look up gopis, you look up gopas. There's so many references to milk and cow protection in all of Prabhupada's books. So it's a matter of collectively coming together and saying, what can we do? If everybody gives $1 a day, then this will add up quickly, or $2 a day. If you're giving $1 a day for books, give $1 a day for cows. It's not a stretch, you see. So it's a matter of coming together and saying, okay, we're distributing Prabhupada's books. We need to double that. And that used to be the mantra, double it. See, we don't want to minimize book distribution. We want to push more and more book distribution. But the books are saying protect cows. So we have to make some arrangement. Collectively, speak amongst yourselves, work it out. Prabhupada said in the endeavor of protecting cow, there is no loss. It is only a positive factor. See? And the milk will be there. But if I could just read quickly from this purport, Prabhupada's glorification of milk, and the other side of it as well. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Punishment and Reward of Kali, Canto 1, Chapter 17, text number 3. So Prabhupada is going to use a phrase numerous times in glorifying milk. And this phrase is deriving religious principles. So by organizing and getting cow protection on the map here, you will be deriving religious principles. You don't hear this point being discussed in the milk issue. Nobody is discussing that cow protection means deriving religious principles. It's all, well, I'm a vegan or, but actually cow protection means deriving religious principles. And that's what we're doing for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's given us the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Harinam Sankirtan, cleansing of the heart, so that religious principles can be once again established in society. So the translation, although the cow is beneficial because one can draw religious principles from her, she was now rendered poor and calfless. Her legs were being beaten by a Sudra. There were tears in her eyes, and she was distressed and weak. She was hankering after some grass in the field. And if you go and visit Sarabi, you'll see she's got so much grass, she's so happy. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The next symptom of the age of Kali is the distressed condition of the cow. Milking the cow means drawing the principles of religion in a liquid form. The great rishis and munis would live only on milk. Srila Sukadeva Goswami would go to a householder while he was milking a cow, and he would simply take a little quantity of it for subsistence. Even 50 years ago, no one would deprive a sadhu of a quart or two of milk, and every householder would give milk like water. For a Sanatanist, a follower of Vedic principles, it is the duty of every householder to have cows and bulls as household paraphernalia, not only for drinking milk, but also for deriving religious principles. Prabhupada will keep saying this, deriving religious principles. We're living in a society now which is devoid of religious principles. The Sanatanist worships cows on religious principles and respects Brahmins. The cow's milk is required for the sacrificial fire. How can you do that if you're a vegan? Are you going to put soy milk? No. You need ghee. It's very important. The cow's milk is required for the sacrificial fire, and by performing sacrifices, the householder can be happy. The cow's calf not only is beautiful to look at, but also gives satisfaction to the cow. And so she delivers as much milk as possible. But now the story is going to change. Prabhupada has glorified milk, and he's instructing us. All of these aspects of cow protection are to derive religious principles. But in the Kali Yuga, the calves are separated from the cow as early as possible for purposes which may not be mentioned in these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. The cow stands with tears in her eyes. The Sudra milkman draws milk from the cow artificially, and when there is no milk, the cow is sent to be slaughtered. Now Srila Prabhupada classifies these activities. These greatly sinful acts are responsible for all the troubles in present society. How can we support that? Every penny that we spend on commercial dairy is supporting these greatly sinful acts. People do not know what they are doing in the name of economic development. The influence of Kali will keep them in the darkness of ignorance. Despite all endeavors for peace and prosperity, they must try to see the cows and the bulls happy in all respects. Foolish people do not know how one earns happiness by making the cows and bulls happy, but it is a fact by the law of nature. Let us take it from the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam and adopt the principles for the total happiness of humanity. Isn't that the goal that we're striving for? Is that humanity is happy? So the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is there. It's a cleansing process. But Krishna consciousness is not just a Bhagavatam class, it's a lifestyle. And Krishna is giving us all these different activities. It's very important that you distribute the books. And it's very important that you organize with Hari Guru and others who are already involved somehow to make this happen. Cow protection as the second pillar of spiritual life along with Brahminical culture, and really show what Prabhupada wanted. So during Prasad, I have a whole bunch of newsletters. My wife puts out these really wonderful newsletters, and they're going to be in this room. Please feel free. There's 4 different issues. Please feel free to take them all. Okay.
Any last quick question? One last question? Otherwise, we'll put our asanas away and then we'll get ready for the Aarti ceremony.
Just one quick comment.
Yes.
I like to read directly from Prabhupada's purport. Prabhupada is saying, I'm not saying, I'm just reading his words. See, so I'm simply asking, please, trying to understand what Prabhupada is saying. And he said, one of the last things that he told us, your love for me will be exhibited on how you cooperate together. So it can only be glorious, distributing Prabhupada's books and establishing cow protection. Thank you.
Thank you very much.